Hey guys, it's Mark from Professional, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the 13 best foods to balance your hormones. Now, my name is Mark from Professional, and I help people understand what is causing their brain to go into pain, to go through flares and remissions of pain, to be stuck in chronic pain cycles, to keep them feeling foggy-headed and fatigued. What happens inside of their hormones and their gut that really affects their brain and keeps them from feeling good and getting back to what matters most. This video, we're going to be talking about 13 best foods to balance your hormones, and this is really going to be structured around the two separate areas that we can really come to understand what we need from our food to balance our hormones. Now, there are two areas. The first one is we want to receive. We need to know that we have to receive nutrients from our food to be able to create our hormones properly, efficiently, effectively. We need lots and lots of nutrients. We need them coming in. We need them being digested and absorbed properly. And we need them going towards our hormones, whether those be reproductive hormones or whether those be stress hormones or thyroid hormones or whatever they may be. We want to make sure that we are receiving the nutrients we need. And then the other area is that we want to make sure that we are clearing our hormones properly. The way I like to explain it is that our hormone is created. This hormone, let's say estrogen, it's created, it circulates through the body, it does its job. After it's done doing its job, it has to go to the liver to get recycled, to get broken down, to get recycled, and to get excreted through the body, out of the body. Now, if the body cannot properly excrete this hormone, or if the body then goes and reabsorbs this hormone as it's trying to, let's say, defecate it or poop it out, then we have a problem. Then we have these hormones building up and we have problems with properly regulating our hormones. So we want to make sure we're doing two things. We are receiving the nutrients to build our hormones, and then we are clearing the nutrients out of our body properly. Now, there are 13 foods to do this. First, we're going to start with the foods that we need to receive. So we need to receive nutrient complexes from our food to be able to use those, to be able to utilize all of the nutrients in them. Because our body does not use just a sugar or just a amino acid or just a fatty acid or just a mineral or just a vitamin. It needs nutrient complexes because everything comes bound together in this nutrient complex we call a cell. Right? So every protein comes with the fat, comes with the carb, comes with the mineral, comes with the vitamin, and this has a synergistic effect on absorption. And this is why we cannot get all of our nutrition from powders, from pills and powders and chemicals. We have to resort to whole foods to get the best nutrition that we can, to get the most out of our nutrition. So we want to make sure that we're getting our proteins, we're getting our fats, we're getting our carbs, we're getting really, really high quality sources of proteins and of fats. We are getting slow sources of carbohydrates. Whenever we can, we want to avoid the simple sugars, the empty sources of carbohydrates and fats and proteins. We want to make sure that we're getting enzymes inside of our food, right? Living food, only living food has enzymes. If you get a powder, the chances are that food has been denatured, it's been pasteurized, and that powder is dead. It no longer has enzymes, and that is the definition of it being dead. So then this requires much more effort on our body's part. So we want to make sure that we have enzymes inside of that food, that we are eating just as many healthy raw foods, as long as we can digest them, as we are cooked foods. Then, of course, we need tons of vitamins, like the B vitamins, like our fat-soluble vitamins. We need tons of minerals. We need the whole spectrum of minerals. In something like sea salt, we have 100 different minerals that are there and interacting with our bodies, and that we need different amounts of different minerals in. So it's really important to be getting the full spectrum of minerals, and this is why organic nutrition is better than just conventionally raised meats and plants and agriculture. We also need cofactors. We also need phytochemicals. Phytochemicals are those things found inside of the plant family that are super, super beneficial for us, have systemic effects on both our bodies and our gut bacteria. our gut bacteria use polyphenols, and our body can actually absorb polyphenols when we get them from different plants, but our gut bacteria take them, they digest them, they break them down, and they feed our body short chain fatty acids, which are super, super beneficial, super anti-inflammatory, and helpful for our bodies, for our guts, for our brains. Right? So some of the main foods that are going to give us and let us receive enough nutrients to build our hormones are foods like fish, especially whole fish, like sardines. When we get the whole fish, we get more than just the muscle inside that fish. We're getting the head, we're getting the tail, we're getting all the bones and the skin. We're getting much more. Liver. Liver is the most nutrient-dense superfood, bar none, all across every single food known. A liver is highly, highly nutrient dense, bioavailable, and doesn't contain any anti-nutrients like many plants do. Then, of course, foods like avocado and olive oil, we want to make sure that we're getting enough of our high quality fats, that we have a really good fatty acid balance inside of our bodies between omega-3 and omega-6, and that we are getting lots of saturated fats. Saturated fats have been demonized for a very, very long time, but they are healthy. They're very, very healthy. The research is out and they are healthy. They are good for us. We need them to sustain our energy levels over long periods of time, and saturated fats are good. We just want to make sure that we are sourcing them from good places. We aren't eating poor quality fats or proteins. We want to make sure that we're sticking with higher quality like coconut and like organic, wild, and pastured animal sources. Then, of course, foods like flax and pumpkin seeds. Flax seeds and pumpkin seeds are really supportive for female hormones, especially during your luteal and your follicular cycles of your menstrual cycle. It's really important to be getting all of these different foods so that you're receiving enough nutrients to be able to create those hormones you need. The more stress you're under, the more exercise you're doing, the less digestive capacity you have, the more you're going to need to receive nutrients to get adequate amounts. Now, the next section is to clear. Now, clearing is a process. Our body is constantly trying to clear itself of waste products, both waste products that are created from our cells and waste products that are created inside of our gut that we absorb, right? So there's a really, really big job going on in making sure that we can clear. Clearing is done through our detoxification organs, like through breathing, through sweating, through urinating, through defecating. These are all really, really important to make sure that we are clearing properly, that we are getting those toxins out. If we can't properly get toxins out, sweating it is one of the best ways to avoid having to use, if we have gut issues or if we have kidney issues, we can use sweat as a way to really clear a lot of the toxins that are inside of our bodies, detoxify ourselves. And detoxification, it's very different from cleansing. A cleanse is maybe a week long. Detoxification takes months and months and years to do. It's a very long process, and we want to take our time with it. The last thing we want to do is rush our body. Our body will detox at its own pace. We just want to support it in doing so. So some of the keys that we want to have to make sure that our body is able to detoxify is enough fibers and diversity, plant fibers. Making sure that we have lots of them ensures that our gut microbiome is really, really diverse, which protects us from taking in toxins and harmful molecules, but then also prevents harmful molecules by being secreted by our digestive microbes. And then it also helps us to remove toxins. When our liver detoxifies them, it helps to get those removed out of our bodies. We want to make sure that we are supporting our liver and functioning properly, that we're getting in plenty of amino acids through our diet, depending on our type. Everyone has a different dietary type. We want to figure out what our type is and eat enough amino acids for that type, as well as antioxidants. We have to make sure that we're getting enough antioxidants to help support and protect our liver and our brain and our body and all of our cells and cellular membranes. They all need antioxidants to protect themselves. And then, of course, we need to move. We need to move. We have to move because this is what stimulates breathing, which causes our diaphragm to have to work, which massages all our organs and pumps our lymphatic system, right? We have to remember that our body functions on two main liquids, our blood and our lymphatics, right? So our blood is taking nutrients to our body, and our lymphatics are taking waste away from our cells. So we have to make sure that we are moving, because the lymphatic system does not have a heart to pump it. It requires muscles, it requires breathing. So we have to get out there, we have to get moving, whatever we can do. If we can just walk and use breathing exercises, then that's all we can do. If we can move up to yoga, or if we can do sports, or if we can do weightlifting, then we have to move up as much as we can to get moving, get pumping our bodies, so that we can detoxify properly and we can support our hormones in functioning properly. So some of the foods that are really essential to making sure that we can detoxify properly are foods like cruciferous vegetables, the whole cruciferous vegetable family like broccoli and cauliflower and Brussels sprouts, the onion family, onion, green onions, garlic, the mushrooms. Mushrooms are really supportive. Leafy greens, again, comes back to plant diversity, making sure that we're getting plenty of leafy greens. We're getting a wide diversity of different plant foods, because each different plant food feeds different bacteria. We want the widest variety of bacterial populations in our body. Diversity always wins. We want to make sure that we're supporting them with leafy foods. And then, of course, prebiotics and probiotics. Prebiotics so that we're feeding our gut bacteria, and probiotics so that we're helping to modulate our gut bacteria and our immune system, right? Like fermented foods and cultured foods. We just want to be careful. If we're histamine or tyramine sensitive, with migraines and headaches, we want to be careful with those. And then, of course, liver and gallbladder supportive foods. Foods like dandelion and beet and ginger that just help the liver and the gallbladder to function properly, to run smoothly, to secrete bile effectively so that we can detoxify our hormones and we can get them out of our body, right? So kind of wrapping it up, we want to make sure that we have lots of fish, lots of liver, avocado, olive oil, saturated fat, flax seeds and pumpkin seeds, all of the different good quality fats and proteins, that we're maintaining steady levels of carbohydrates in our body. We're eating lots of cruciferous vegetables, the mushroom family, the onion family, leafy greens with a really wide variety, pre and probiotic foods, and then liver and gallbladder supportive foods. These are all going to ensure that you are doing the job and doing the work in receiving enough nutrients to support your hormones so that you can build your hormones, because they have to be built, but then also making sure that you can clear those hormones. Once they've done their job, when they have to be detoxified, we have the ability to get those detoxified, deactivate them, and get them out of our body. Now, do you have problems balancing your hormones? Do you have problems creating enough hormones? Do you have hormonal issues maybe tied to your cycle, tied to ovulation or prior to your period? Do you get symptoms? Do you get menstrual symptoms or PMS type symptoms? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what's kind of going on. I want to understand more, and let me know what you think about these food lists and if you have started to apply some of these foods inside of your diet. Thanks. Hey, it's Mark from biochemically.com. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe in the bottom left corner, and if you want to learn more about migraines and headaches than you've ever known before, and understand what causes them, what creates them, and what you can do about them, make sure to go to migraineprofessional.com. Thanks.